Hi guys, welcome to Tarot in the Dark. My name is Tori. Let's dig in and see what comes out. I hope everybody's doing fantastic. Today is the 20th when I'm recording this, and Saturn has gone conjunct, or I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Anyway, Saturn is conjunct with Neptune. I'm like, is that right? And you guys probably know I'm like a goofball. And so you probably are finding some sense of clarity in regards to ways that you can now become more disciplined in your day-to-day activities, or maybe taking into consideration how you can become more active and aligned to what it is that you desire. Like, how can you actively align with what you want? The energy is heightened, it's kind of potent. You may feel very tired today, just as your system is kind of upgrading. So just keep those things in mind, okay? It's also important to pay attention to the amount of self-care that you are given to yourself, okay? Especially since we have another eclipse coming up on the 3rd of March, and that's going to be an eclipse in a full moon eclipse in Virgo, okay? So anyways, just keep in mind that the energies may be intense. So when they tell me to grab these cards, you guys probably know we're going to go deep. The first thing that they were telling me here is that there's a remembrance coming through. For some of you, you may be recalling older versions of yourself, as well as some like ancestral memories. Okay, you could feel nudged, and it's almost like a notification. You may feel like you've been provided notice of something that has been missing in your life. Again, this could be connected to some type of messages that you're receiving, downloads, dreams, things like that could be heightened in this moment for you. And it has to do with like a splattering of your passions, okay? It's almost like maybe you've been operating from a space of like emotional healing, purging, cleansing, and now it's time to activate the passion and actually like push forth into or push forward into the things that you're desiring to do with your life. I'm also seeing that there are some ancestors here that are kind of crowning the activities that you're pushing into. Okay, so you may be wondering, like, why do I all of a sudden feel like I need to really, 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 like, hone in on this project that I've been working on? You may be wondering why all of a sudden you're feeling nudged to tap into something that you haven't even thought about since you were a child. You may feel nudged to tap into more passionate creative endeavors versus the mundane, like day-to-day activities. You may notice that you're moving from a place of passion rather than from a place of emotions. And what that means is, oftentimes we can, I'm going to put this right here. Oftentimes we can get caught up in day-to-day activities, and we may not realize how those day-to-day activities actually impact our emotions, to whereas you can just do things and not realize that the impact on your emotions is greater than you anticipate. Because there's something coming through here in regards to like day-to-day activities outweighing emotions, and it's like an imbalance, but it's because you've been working from a place of overactive emotions. So basically it's like you've been overly stimulated, working from a place of fight or flight. This could be your day-to-day job. It could be just living in general. Like maybe you're working more than one job. Maybe you're going to school and working. Whatever your situation is. Maybe you're trying to work on your way out into retirement. Maybe you're trying to work more hours so that you can go on vacation. Whatever this means for you, there's something coming through in regards to being overly stimulated and imbalanced in your emotions. And it's almost like they're coming through to tell you that they're creating a new opportunity and an experience for you in this new in this new era that you're stepping into, is how I want to say it. In this new era, this new space that you're stepping into, there's going to be more balance between your emotions and your passions, so that one doesn't overtake or overpower the other to the point to where you're living in dissatisfaction. Okay, that's interesting. It's almost like a crown of ancestors. Like maybe you're carrying the weight of your ancestors, but not a weight as in something that's heavy. Like, you know, we could think of like the weight of the world. It's not that. It's more so like the weight of the ancestors' memories. Like you're the bearer of the ancestral memory. I love this, guys. Look at this. This is so awesome. And then look at the bottom of the deck here. Metamorphosis, the in-between, and a call to transformation. If this isn't in alignment with what they are talking about. Exile, surrender, and radical acceptance. So for a lot of you, this has something to do with your spiritual gifts being awakened. Now, your spiritual gifts can come through by means of your creative endeavors. It doesn't mean that you have to be a tarot reader, you know, a psychic, an astrologist, anything like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to fit in one of those categories to be spiritual. I mean, if you are a creative in any aspect, that's spiritual, because those are more than likely gifts that have been given to you. Like, for example, people who do mukbangs, to me, those are their spiritual gifts, and it's because they have the gift of connectivity. They're able to connect with people. Like I was just watching a little bit ago, King Shratz, I think is how you call, or how he pronounces his name. That's not his real name, but I don't think that's his real name. Anyways, but I watch him. I don't know why I like to watch him when I'm eating too, but he has a gift of connecting, relatability. That's a spiritual gift, guys. So this does not necessarily mean that your gifts are spiritual, as in, like I said, tarot or, you know, whatever else. You could be anything and it's spiritual. If you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you're a judge, if you're a pediatrician, I mean, I said doctor already, right? If you are a garbage man, I mean, godly, you have to be spiritual to be able to rid yourselves of the waste that you pick up throughout the day. I mean, there's so many. The spiritual realm is in everything that we do, guys. There's nothing excluded. I mean, I remember when I used to work in a call center, that was spiritual because I had to be able to listen to people's complaints, take it in, receive it, process it, and then provide them with an answer, a solution. That's a spiritual gift, being able to see the problem, recognize it, and provide a solution. So anyways, I don't want to keep going off on a tangent about that, but so for you, what your ancestors are saying through this is that you're coming out of there's something that's going to shift, because I don't know why I'm seeing this as the Tower. There's something that's going to shift, and it's going to catch you off guard. And it may happen, you know, or have a lot to do with this eclipse that we just had, and then the eclipse that we're going into, because I'm seeing this as a full moon, but there's something around it like a halo, so it's giving me eclipse vibes. So there's something in regards to you shifting into a more powerful version of you, and this is the serenity of exile is about you surrendering over. And that may be why your ancestors are really coming through today. You notice here we have several ancestors here. So it's almost like the whole team, the village, is showing up in support for you and your ability to be able to surrender into this new experience. And you could be very confused. You could be like, I have no idea like what I'm supposed to do with this or what this is going to look like. You may feel like you're being called to put a lot of trust in spirit right now, a lot of trust in your ancestors, and you may be very uncomfortable with that. It's almost like there's something very vulnerable about you being in this space of acceptance and surrender. But the interesting thing about it is that it feels like it's very satisfying to you. So whatever this is something that you enjoy doing. It's something that you are excited about. I do feel for a lot of you that this is kind of a wish or a dream that you've had even in your childhood, because it feels very fun in nature. So it doesn't, I keep picking up on the energy of like, this really isn't work. Like, I'm not working. Like, wow, this is fantastic. I get to do this. Like, this is my life. It feels like that. It feels very vibrant. It feels very energized. And it also has a lot to do with your ability to really step into your power, right? Like stepping into your authenticity, because there's something here about Aquarian energy, being your authentic self, being able to operate as yourself without fear of rejection or, you know, someone looking at you sideways. It's like you're accepting the fact that this is who I am, and because this is who I am, I'm going to embrace every part of it. And it's very Aquarian, that eccentric energy that is not afraid to stand out, that's not afraid to dye their hair blue or, you know, purple or green or whatever color. You know, the energy of Aquarius is, I'm not afraid to be in its higher self. I'm not afraid to be my authentic self. And there's no fear involved in that because it is the truth. It took a lot for you to get to this space. It required a lot of honesty, a lot of self-reflection, and a lot of releasing self-doubts is what I'm hearing. The Goldfinch card is here. I feel like this card has been coming out in every reading with joy, prosperity, and balance. Wow. So that's what's coming your way. Your gifts are going to make room for you is what I'm hearing. So with that, your gifts are going to be able to bring in the prosperity and abundance that's needed in order for you to feel balanced in life. Okay, so that could mean for some of you, this will come by way of someone providing you with finances, of you being able to gain enough clients, of you being able to do whatever it is that you need to be able to receive easily the finances and stability that you need to push through in this new venture. It also has something to do with, because I keep seeing like someone bringing wood in. So I don't know if someone builds, like I'm seeing like furniture, like upscaling. So if someone does like upscaling, it's like you're going to receive free stuff. Like people are going to find out that you're an upscaler and they're going to be like, I want to get rid of this. Can I drop it off to you? You know, it's something like that, like somebody bringing you the supplies that you need, or like never running out, because they're showing me the Bible verse about the lady who, the ladies with the lamps, and how some of the ladies weren't prepared because they didn't want to go out and like refill the oil, if I'm recalling the story correctly. But there was one woman and she went and she refilled her oil, and she had more than enough. So it's like you have refilled your oil by surrendering. See, for us, the refilling of the oil is to surrender over to the divine, to say, I trust and I'm going to allow. Not only that, I trust that you've given me what I need to be able to make the life that I desire happen for myself without resistance. So what that means is I'm surrendering to you, Spirit, and I'm also going to not resist you by getting in the way, by interjecting my own ideas, thoughts, shadow self into the picture. So it's almost like you removed your shadow self out of the way so that spirit could take over and your ancestors can support you. And now you're able to radically accept and surrender. Exhaling and exiling out of the old and now into the new. And now they're telling me the story of the Israelites being kept in Egypt. Was it Egypt for 40 years? So it's like you, I don't know what I'm channeling. Sometimes I just completely forget like Bible scriptures. I forget a lot of stuff. But anyways, that's just very interesting to me. I'm going to like assess that. But the exile out of Egypt, it's like it took you longer to get here than you wanted it to. And it took them 40 years to exit out, and it was because they were getting in their own way. But for you, it may have taken some of you 40 years. However long it's taken you, though, the ancestors are saying very clearly that they're bringing this story up because they want you to recognize that you're exiling when you're supposed to. That this is divine timing at play in your life. That this is balance. There's no out of order. And if this is a word, there's no out of orderness. I'm making that up, but that's basically how they're saying it. Nothing is out of order. Everything is aligned. And it's aligned because they keep showing me these ancestors here as like the crown chakra. So it's aligned because now you're aligned to the world around you. You're aligned to your team. You're aligned to in your thoughts. And now you're ready for this shift. The crown chakra is also connected to Uranus, which is the Tower card of sudden changes, but also the Uranian energy in its lower self or shadow self would be destruction. Okay? Aquarian energy, when it is not tamed and balanced, is destructive. And so for some of you, you've had some destructive energy in your mind that you've had to exile from, because that's how this feels. Some of you, it could be physically leaving a situation, people, places, things, whatever, jobs, right? But for most of you, this feels like this was mental energy. Mental energy, like you being able to exile the negative thoughts in order to believe in your truest self and expressing that authentically without fear, shame, guilt, or condemnation. And I think before you can get to the outside world condemning you, you had to first accept all of this within yourself. And then the egret, the great egret. This is statelessness, beauty, and rarity. I love this because, especially considering we're talking about gifts here, there's something very rare about your gifts. It's like it stands out. And you could be out in imagine that you're a bird out in this, field or whatever this is. And all the other birds are these little goldfinches, right? Or maybe you have some magpies here. This bird is going to stand out. This great egret, I'm calling it the great because that's what I thought they were called, but they're calling it egret, whatever. This bird stands out amongst every other bird. It's pure. Your intentions are pure. I heard your devotion is pure. Your diligence is something that you're being rewarded for as well. There's something coming through about you being diligent to bring this to completion, meaning you were committed to ensuring that you did not stay in a place of stagnancy. That also has to do with balance. You were steadfast in ensuring that you brought your life back into balance. Persistent in wanting to restore the balance in your life. Even when you felt like you were up against hard tasks, things that felt unattainable, you were committed to not quitting. Wow. You were committed to trusting. Look at the bottom of the deck is leadership with the stag spirit. So this leadership energy, let me speak to this first. You see his antlers have like this like halo over them. That's kind of how this is appearing with the ancestors, like a halo. And this halo here is like it's obviously colorful, right? It's like almost giving me like the essence of a rainbow. But this is almost like you're being crowned or gifted some type of leadership role. And it has to do with passion. You see all this red here? It has to do with your passions, something that will reignite you, put a fire under your butt and excite you. And this is literally like a gift and a crown that's being afforded to you by your ancestors, because while you were hidden in this cave, ooh, peacock up there. While you were hidden in this cave, you chose to trust. While you were challenged in your mind while you were unable to sleep, going through and dealing with stress, anxiety, frustration, irritation. It's like you had this crystal ball that you would look into and you're like, I know God has to have something better for me. Like, I know, right? In the dark, in the cave where you're hidden, where you feel abandoned, alone, distraught, traumatized, filled with chaos and conflict and turmoil in your mind and your thought process, you've decided to trust. And it's almost like you have this energy of this peacock is just waiting for you to look up and recognize that this is who you are. It's almost like a reflection of you. But you were protected and covered from it until right now, which is why they're saying that this is divine timing, that this is balance, that things are happening as they're supposed to. Because if you didn't go through the process of the cave, right, where you were in the cave seeking guidance and support and assistance, needing to constantly remind yourself of your value and of, your prosperity, I'm hearing, your abundance. If you couldn't identify the gifts within you, if you couldn't see the credit and the blessing that you are, then there's no way that you would feel comfortable in this exiling, because you wouldn't be able to accept the fact that you are exactly who you are for a reason, for a purpose. Also, they're saying that part of that radical acceptance is embracing that you are exactly where you're supposed to be for a reason as well. And I know that's very hard for us to deal with. But they're bringing me to this card here, that you're in a metamorphosis stage. You've been in metamorphosis, and this is the in-between still. It's almost like you have your wings, but they're just not flapping yet. And this is because you've been called to transform and move out of that. And that's an 8 energy, but they're showing me that as the 8 of Wands. So the 8 of Wands, and I'm seeing the Tower. Guys, something's going to shift quickly, unexpectedly. You're not expecting this. You may have a passion project or something that you desire to do, like that you enjoy doing just for fun, right? You could be an influencer, YouTuber. You may have an IG page, whatever it is. You may be like, oh, I really like to do this, but not thinking that you could actually like make a living off of it. And that's about to shift for you. I'm going to flip those cards that are coming out. Wow. The ones that are coming out upside down, I'll flip them in just a second. Yeah, see, you've been so used to, we've been talking about this a lot in the readings, but you've been so used to carrying the weight and the burdens of everything, life, maybe even carrying the weight for your family members. I don't know why they're like, this is giving me the vibes, and they're telling me the Joseph story. You guys know Joseph had brothers. His brothers like shoot him away. They sold him, try to get rid of him. He was sold to the king. He became like a prophet of the king, I believe. And then he ended up taking over, and the king gave him everything. That's what this reminds me of. Like, maybe you have had people around you like throw you away. There could be something about your looks too that you have felt would prevent you from actually being able to operate in your gifts. Like maybe hiding because you carry shame or guilt. Something like that is coming through in this 10 of Wands. But it's not yours. Your ancestors are saying it's not yours. It could have been dumped on you. Like they're showing me this, they're showing me how in one reading they told us that, imagine you're walking down the street and you're walking this way, somebody's walking this way, opposite direction of you, but on the same side of the street, and they just throw a bag of potatoes at you and you grab it and you're like, what the heck is this? You're like, I don't want these potatoes. That's how this feels, is like the same energy of something being handed to you that you didn't ask for. But look, that Hangman is at the bottom of the deck. I think this was given to you. This burden that you've been carrying was given to you in order for you to shift your perspective with the Hangman here. Because you'll notice about this hangman is a little different. You notice how he's got the string that's holding him up. All he has to do is let himself down. So if he just loosens up that string, he would find himself on the ground. So it's you that has the power. This was thrown at you. The weight was given to you. The guilt, the shame, the condemnation, the feelings of not being good enough, not looking good enough, feeling like you want to change something about yourself. Almost a feeling of like the energy that they're giving me from it is that you feel like you're distorted in some sense, like something is missing or lacking in you, as if you're incomplete. That was given to you in order to shift your perspective. But it's not yours. It definitely feels like ancestral karma that was given to you unwelcomed, right? You were kind of voluntold to take this only because, whoa, the 6 of freaking wands, guys. Oh my God. Only because your ancestors knew that you would be the one that would break the chains. So here you have the 5 of swords. And then coming out underneath this is the 8 of swords. Yeah, there's something about you having the willpower to be able to come out of this 8 of swords energy by showing up and winning. The very interesting thing about this 5 of swords is usually like the 5 of swords shows like basically like swords up in the air and the others are going at it with the other individuals. So usually like 3 people in the card and they're usually fighting with their swords. He's laid all the swords down. And there's something about this, and this being the serenity out of exile, right? This is a form of radical acceptance and surrendering. You've learned to surrender over the fight, recognizing that the fight is in your mind. The biggest war that we will fight in our lives is in our mental space. It's in our minds. And the 8 of swords represents you tying yourself up, keeping yourself trapped. And it's because there's fear of what is unknown or unfamiliar. And you've recognized with this 5 of swords and 8 of swords that you don't need to fight something. You don't need to fight a battle against yourself, is basically how they're saying it. You don't need to fight a war against yourself. It's like you got your boots strapped, you were ready to go, and then you get there and you're like, there's not even anybody here to argue with. Like, nobody's here. You know, there's people down here, they could be fishing, but you're like, I came out here to fight and nobody's even here to fight me. And that's how you came to the conclusion that you were only resisting yourself. Wow, that's powerful as heck. I could just keep going in this energy here because it's very powerful. It's the recognition that my superpower is not contained in a war. It's contained in peace, in love, in submission, in surrender. The balance is gained when I'm able to fall into a state of this right here, statelessness. Okay, so I don't know exactly what statelessness means, and I'm not going to look it up because I'm going to just trust what they're telling me, and that this statelessness is this 5 of swords, just this gentleman here, because it's almost like, I mean, you could put the words together and kind of make an assumption as to what it is, but it's almost like the energy of just stillness. Like, I don't need to push. I don't need to resist. I don't need to push or pull. All I need to do is just sit and wait. And it's because you recognize that that's stability. It's imbalanced when you are in this 8 of swords energy because it keeps you in a constant prison of mental war. Constantly feeling like you have to fight to prove a point, to make sure that you're seen, heard, validated. And this gentleman here is like, I don't need to do any of that. They're fishing, minding their business. They're not trying to war with me. If I fight, I'd be fighting myself. The peace, the balance comes in when you operate as this Queen of Wands energy, accepting that you do have a place in the world. You are meant to stand out. You are unique, set apart. Your beauty, the way you look, is intentional. God made no mistakes in the way that He made you. the thing is that you've learned that you need to have courage in order to do this. That it maybe is not something that comes so natural to you, right? Like maybe others in your position, say for example, you are being promoted to like a supervisor or a team lead or something like that at work, right? Now you have a team underneath you. You have to be the authoritative position, the authoritative person, right? And what I mean by that is not like you need to boss people around. It's more so like now I'm the one that has to speak. So for example, like, for me, like as the charge nurse, you have to start the day. You're the one that initiates the huddles in the morning. You're the one that says, hey, these are your assignments. This is where you're going to go here. You're going to go there. If a patient has an issue, you're going to be the one that's going to go in and talk to that patient. So there's a level of confidence that you have to have in that moment, whether you feel it or not. And sometimes it's easier to say, no, never mind. I don't want to have to try to pull that confidence out of me. I'd rather just like let somebody else be the charge, or like not deal with this because it's going to require me dealing with a bunch of people who want to disagree just because they want to stroke their egos. Whatever it is. Obviously, I'm not bitter, guys. Right? I'm just talking trash. No, I'm just saying it's a thing that happens, right? So there's something here in regards to being courageous and allowing yourself to flower and open up and not shy away from your identity, your authenticity. There's also a level of confidence that the Queen of Wands naturally carries, and it's because she recognizes that she is unique. She is set apart and she's meant to stand out. And then justice here is awesome. This is awesome because look at this. This always reminds me of like the death card with wisdom. So it's like, and then you notice the owl is only standing on one leg or talon. So it's like you've accepted the fact that once again, that in order for you to remain or to maintain balance, you have to be honest, you have to access wisdom, and you need to be able to stand on your own. There's also something about accepting the cycles of life and that old things must die away. You must leave old things behind in order for you to usher in the new. That's amazing. And then you have the 10 of Cups here, guys. This is happy life. Full of joy, excitement. This is emotional fulfillment. That's how I look at the 10 of Cups. This is being emotionally fulfilled. And I'm hearing that a lot of you never thought that this was something that you could actually have in life. And with your gifts, with your career, with things shifting in your life, this could even be a relationship, guys. You are going to have happiness, satisfaction, and it is not going to fade away because, oh my freaking gosh, you have the Emperor here. Wow. So again, some of you could have a romantic partnership coming into your life. This person is a boss. And what I mean by that is they can stand on their own. But they're going to be loyal. They're going to be committed to you. They're going to be focused on you. They're going to be able to control their emotions, their actions, their demeanor. Okay, this is a wise emperor. This emperor is about his family, about supporting his family. And he definitely wants to protect this Queen of Wands because he recognizes how big of a prize she is. For some of you, this could be an individual, male or female. I'm just speaking to the energy that's on the card, guys. But you could be male, female. It doesn't matter. We all have feminine and masculine energy in us. But the Emperor wants to protect the Queen of Wands at all costs because the Emperor is going to recognize that the Queen of Wands is a prize. This Emperor could also help you to recognize that you're a prize. Like maybe you kind of are leaning into that, trying to trust that you have this rarity to you, but yet you want to stay humble. You want to stay balanced in your energy. You don't want to go too far left with it. And this Emperor is like, no, you need to be seen. You deserve to be seen, and people need to know you. They need to have your experiences in their lives in order to be able to bring them balance, in order to allow themselves to show up as the best version of them, guys. So whatever this is, whatever your gifts are, your artistry, your career, it absolutely is moving you to a place of being seen, okay? And again, this could be a promotion in the office. It could be a promotion at the store. It could be a promotion at the post office. Whatever it is, it's a promotion for you. And it is going to allow you to not sit in the back seat anymore. It's almost like your ancestors are calling you out into something bigger. And I think for whoever I'm reading for, it feels like you've been scared to be seen. You've been afraid of this leadership role. Wow, I have to show you what's underneath the leadership. Look at this. Prosperity. You've been afraid of leadership. For some of you, you're afraid of prosperity. But this next step, this victory after the wars that you've been in, which, guys, we all know, okay, when you have a tough month at work, say for example you work in finances and maybe doing taxes or something like that, during tax season, at the end of tax season, usually if you work for an organization, they do something for you because it's like that was the most difficult season ever and you made it through. That's the Six of Wands, and how it's showing up in this reading is like you fought a good fight. Now it's time to receive the rewards. Let's have a party. And for you, this party is about you being promoted in some way, shape, or form. Relationships, career, paperwork, court systems with the justice here. Could have to do with family. There's a shift in the energy, a transformation, and it's being balanced out. The Temperance card, especially the Temperance coming out with the Seven of Pentacles, is showing up to say you've planted the seeds. The appropriate seeds have been planted. It's time for your harvest season. It's time for your harvest season, and these are gifts being brought in from your guides, from your ancestors, and they're gifts because it's time for you to have victory after a very, very, very long war. Your passions and your emotions are ready to intertwine. And that's what this Ten of Cups is. Because the Ten of Cups can also represent an energy of feeling overwhelmed by life being so good to you. And that's how this feels. This feels like you're stepping into the energy of, look, joy, prosperity, balance. Right here, balance. You have cards confirming each other. Prosperity, prosperity. Beauty, rarity. Leadership. I mean, this is amazing. This is amazing, amazing, amazing. Just remind yourself to continue to do what you're doing, because whatever you're doing, you're going with the flow, and look at where it's leading you. This is amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is beautiful, guys. I hope this resonates with you. I think I'm going to stop the reading here, because I don't think there's anything else that I could add to this. Just know you have these things coming in for you. The war is in your mind, but the best way to defeat it is to surrender over to it rather than resisting it. That's powerful. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.